In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth, etc., etc. Now, it seems to me that God made man in his image, and there are different takes on what that actually means. I've got my own ideas, and I'm not going to share them with you because, you know, that's for you to decide. It's your journey to decide that. But what I will say is that many religions, including Jehovah's Witnesses, have kind of reversed it. They've made God in their image. Yeah, they've made God in their image. Just think about it. When you speak to, I don't know, perhaps a Jehovah's Witness or a fundy or somebody who's saying that, you know, God is love and how he expresses his love, there's probably no scriptural backing as to why that is so, or why that is in the way that it is that they've described it. You know, Armageddon's one of those things, isn't it, that Jehovah's Witnesses always say, oh, well, you know, the Watchtower says that only those of the Anointed Remnant and Jehovah's Witnesses have any scriptural hope. You probably remember that from one of the magazines, of surviving Armageddon. So in other words, the Watchtower is saying only Jehovah's Witnesses, nobody else. But then the witness will engage a kind of unwitting theocratic warfare, I guess, in their own minds. They'll lie to themselves and say, well, you know, there's lots of people who are sincere. They perhaps, you know, go to the Baptists or go wherever, but they're sincere. And God won't murder them soon. He'll save them. He won't kill them because they're sincerely worshipping him in the way that ought to be done. So they're making God in their own image. They're kind of saying what God is going to do, which is the same as what the Watchtower does. They're making God in their own image. They've given him a name, Jehovah, that, as I understand it, is a mispronunciation from a 14th century Spanish Catholic monk. They've put the trademark on that name. They've made God in their own image. They've said what God's going to do. He's going to murder everybody soon at Armageddon if they're not a Jehovah's Witness or don't want the Watchtower. They're telling God what to do. They've made God in their own image. Perhaps you can think of other ways that religions and the Watchtower have made God in their own image. They're not content to look at their holy book and say, well, this is what the holy book says. They're adding bits onto it. Oh, God does this, God likes this, God likes that. If I were God, blah, blah, blah. Rhubarb, blah, blah, rhubarb. Load of rhubarb. So, maybe you can think of many different ways that religionists, to quote a good old IBSA word, religionists, have made God in their own image. How happifying. Oh, by the way, God forgot about 1975. He's bad. He didn't obey the command that Freddie Franz gave him. Oh dear, oh dear. Oh, if God ever meets Freddie Franz, what will he do? Sorry I wasn't using a crappy camera today.
Well, it worries me, you know. I was thinking about the latest assembly for this year that's got a mature elder and another brother, and the other brother who's verging on apostasy is saying that he finds the generation overlap teaching too difficult. Now, I think these are scripted parts because it would seem from comparing notes with the people that have been that it's the same words that are used. And I know this does happen at assemblies. Things are highly scripted at times, and it would appear that Brother Mature says Jesus evidently Watchtower word evidently meant that the generations would overlap and kind of sidesteps the real issue, which is typical weasel tactics of the governing body. And I thought, well, how would I have felt about that when I was actually in? What would have been my raison on this subject? Well, I guess I would have thought, well, it's unity. We're unified, those brothers and sisters, and this is the unity that we're experiencing, that we all think the same. Of course, I now know that it's uniformity. But it's not really unity. It's not even that. It's control. It's the governing body controlling the witnesses, because they know that the generation teaching, it's very silly. It's very silly. They must have had a good laugh when they came up with that one. I mean, that was worthy of old Freddie Frowns, that was. Oh, no, yeah, overlapping. So, it's control. What else can you call it? It's not unity at all. Anyway, darlings, have a think about that. Let me know what you think. See you soon. So long ago, I had a chat with somebody who claims to be an ex-witness, and they've seen their way out and seen what a load of rubbish it all is. However, in their approach, they were still very pro-witness. Surprise, surprise. Were they hiding who they really were? I think they were J-Dub sympathisers. Anyway, the conversation went along the lines that they didn't see that the shares in RandCam was such a big thing, or some of the other stuff as well that you probably know about. They didn't really see that the UN involvement was really a big thing, and that was me just sort of focusing on miniature things. My reply was simply that if it were the other way around, if that were any other religion, and if it was the Catholics, for instance, then wouldn't it be the case that the Watchtower would focus in on these things? It's all down to preferences and whose side you're on, really, I think. That if the Catholics had shares in RandCam, then it would be in the Watchtower. If the Catholics had shares, or, you know, was in the UN, oh, worst thing ever, evil, satanic Catholics. I notice they don't slam the Muslims, because they know they'd get a bomb straight up the jacksie, wouldn't they? So I think it depends on how big a smoking gun you think it is, in all fairness. Is it small? Is it large? But I measure it by the way that the Watchtower measures other people. And to my mind, the Watchtower is doing far worse than other religions, because they claim that they're not doing these things, and they claim it's bad, and yet they are doing these things, secretly, hidden. Jehovah's Witnesses don't know what the governing body have got their fingers into, what kind of pies they've got their fingers into. So to me, it's much worse. It's total hypocrisy. What say you, my old darlings?